Gig Gab, episode 486 for Monday, June 16th, National Fudge Day 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Gig Gab, the show by, for, and about working musicians here, as usual, in Durham, New Hampshire. I'm Dave Hamilton. Our sponsors for this episode are CashApp, where you can download the app, put Gig Gab in your profile, send somebody $5, and they'll send you 10. I know, it's amazing. And Rock and Roller, the cart you love. You can save 20% on a cart with code GIGGAB20. We'll talk more about both of those things in a little bit. For now, my guest co-hosts today, from the heart of New Jersey comes a band that fuses reggae, funk, rock into a sound that's as raw and real as the road that they travel. Whether they're tearing up the stage or grinding out the next tour, P-Funk North brings serious hustle and high voltage energy to everything they do. Today, we're diving into the music, the madness, and the stories behind it all. Dave, Kevin, and Jack of P-Funk North, welcome to Gig Gab. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us, man. This is awesome. We appreciate it.
Thank Absolutely. You. It's great to have you here. Yeah. So I love your sound, first of all. You are doing something that is you. I don't want to say unique because it turns out I haven't heard every single band that's out there. So I can't speak accurately to that because unique really is a binary term. But without being super nerdy, you're doing something that's yours, that really is your sound. And I love that.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we like to play. We like to have fun, been doing it for a long time together and individually. So
yeah. Woo, that's great. So how did this all come about? And you're from North New Jersey, and was that part of what helped kind of guide you towards this blend of reggae, funk, rock? I would almost call it there's elements of it that I would call power pop reggae. In the most positive. I am a power pop fan, so please don't take that the wrong way.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
All right.
We're for everybody, we're like Wu-Tang, we're for the children. It's all good, just always be performing. Just, try to stay on top of it when we can. That's a good thing about P-Funk North. North's always on top. But yes, P-Funk North just means North Plainfield. It's where I'm from originally. It's where I grew up. So it's a geographical reference. And I got into Sublime really when I was, going into middle school, and that really shaped it. And then I started listening to a lot of ska and punk and stuff like that. And Safe Ferris and a bunch of bands. We can get into that more, but then I just started playing. We just started playing. These guys are honorary North Plainfield residents. They've come from elsewhere in the great Garden State of Doity, Jersey. Got our passports. Oh yeah, technically, people could get mad about this, Jerseyans. It's like the pork roll versus Taylor ham thing, but there is a Central Jersey. Yeah. So technically, we're from Central Jersey.
Okay. All right. I think I will forgive it on behalf of the entire audience, if you'll forgive me for doing so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's gonna be all right. So, it's fascinating. And when did the band start?
So, we started in 2013, a long, long time ago, in North Plainfield, New Jersey. So with a couple guys, we've gone through a couple residents, if you will, of the P-Funk North train that's been chugging along. And this is the solid. Unlike my poop, you can cut that out if it's a little too risque.
We're highly replaceable.
Highly replaceable. Well, everybody's replaceable, but so that's how that goes. Yeah.
Fortunately,
yeah. It is a business, so we just
business.
Give them the business. But so we we just try to always be performing.
We'll take the pandering here. We like the slogan. It's good.
Yeah.
So Dave, you're the one that's been talking the most here, and it sounds to me like you are the one consistent member of this project.
He's the mayor of North Plainfield.
I'm the mayor.
The P-Funk North mayor.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm the sole survivor, if you will.
Yeah.
Mayor P.
We've been Mayor of P-Funk North.
Yeah.
We've been going through the trenches for a long time now, since 2013. We've been playing together for about 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
2018, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah, math.
Yeah,
if that's the
yeah.
math.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, 5 out of 4 people are bad with fractions.
We don't do public math on Gig Gab. There's no reason to do public math on a podcast.
That's a great term.
And now we know.
Yeah. Well, I've been this. By the time this episode comes out, I will have been podcasting for over 20 years. So there's one lesson I've learned, and it's don't do public math. What's that?
Is it anniversary for you, or?
The 13th of June is the anniversary of not this show of this show's in its 11th year, but another show that I do called Gig Gab will be, and we're recording this a few days early as we usually do, because but
As we do in the
But that's
industry.
cool. 20 years. Congratulations.
Yeah,
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Glad
Yeah.
to be part of it.
I'm stoked to have you as a part of it. Yeah, and I will say, because we're just kind of all over the place already, to anyone listening, like you guys found the show and reached out, and that's how you're here. And we've had other guests like that over the years too, and I love that, because we can only find the people that we can find, and we love talking to so many different people. I like to keep it fresh and interesting and learning new things. And you said something that I want to kind of dig into, because it's a term that can often, especially in original bands, a term that can often be seen as a negative, and you presented it as a positive, which I agree with, and that is that this is the music business. And I would think that embracing that fact is part of your success here, and the fact that you're continuing to thrive and all of these things. What if I ask you what parts of the music business are the most important ones? And I know I didn't prep you for this, but I'm curious. What you would say?
I'd say consistency. You just got to be consistent. If you want to do something, you just go out and do it. Like you don't stop.
And make rejection your best friend,
Yeah.
and get used to no's, and
Just let the music speak for itself, because honestly, in the end, that's what you're selling. It's just the music. The name doesn't matter. Nothing else matters but the music.
and nothing else matters.
I mean, each of those we could dig into. And when you say consistency, Kevin, what are you consistent with?
Just
As a band, I don't mean regularity, but
I like
we
pizza.
I mean, we are consistent with our practice. We meet at least twice a week. Like we make a point to meet and run over songs, to talk about what we have going on in the future. Just communication, stuff like that. Like we're very open with each other. Like we talk about everything.
Just having
Everything.
All
yeah, keep going. I have things to say, but keep going.
I was going to say real quick, consistency in terms of just playing out too. Just try to play out as much as you can all over the place, and just
have a general presence that people can be aware that you are doing things, period.
Yes. Okay.
At the end of the day, like, it's funny because it's like, it's like, oh, we want to seek out these things so we can talk about us. But it's more than that. We like to have a good time with all the people and send the good vibes out there, because it's fun. It's this, it's crazy times all around. What a time to be alive. So if we could just get out there and play these shows and be consistent with the music and the good times, and getting people to forget about their struggles and whatever for a minute or 30 minutes, whatever they give us on the set. 20-minute set. What? Gonna sell 200 tickets. What?
Those days are over.
Hey, at least you don't have to pay to play, right? Jersey doesn't do that anymore. So
Oh yeah.
Well,
I
there's some
wish.
places.
No, it's still there's still a lot going on, but that's another thing about once you kind of, I guess we've been doing this a long time. Like, my back hurts if I sleep wrong. Like, and if I sleep wrong, like my neck hurts for 3 days. Like, we're like, oh man, I can't do roller coasters anymore. Not that we're old, but I'm just saying we've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And so we kind of, as the great Triple H would say, you got to play the game. Time to play the game. Because if, you got to play the game, basically.
Yeah.
That means do what you got to do to just have fun and get out there. Because at the end of the day, we just want to play and, spread the fun, and it's just good time. So
and it sounds like so cliche to say consistency is key, but it really is. Like the simple sayings really do go a long way, and that's why they're repeated over time.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're preaching to the choir on that. When I started podcasting, there was one prime directive, because there can only be one prime directive. That's the definition. And that was to release consistently. Mm-hmm. Quality didn't matter. Content didn't matter. It was keep doing it. But what I love, and you're doing that, right? You're playing and maintaining a public presence. But what I love is that the consistency for you is also internal. You're not just worried about, okay, when are we going to play? It's let's get together twice a week. Let's make sure we stay in touch with each other. Let's keep that going. And I think that's lost on a lot of bands. I mean, it's super easy, especially in the cover band circuit, but also in the original band circuit. I play in both. And it's really easy to say, all right, well, we've got our group of material. We're going to write some stuff next winter. That's great. But until then, we don't need to rehearse. We know all the material already, right? Like, why bother? And the reason is because it's good to get together. I joined a band last year, and they have a weekly rehearsal. And at first I was like, do I really want to join this band? Right? But it turns out that is the catalyst to all of the things that just keep moving the band forward is the fact that we keep getting together. It's not, there's weeks when we can't get together because schedules or whatever, but that's the exception is, if you can't do it, you let everybody else know. Otherwise it's expected that you're just going to be there on Tuesdays at the time.
Yeah. Unless I cancel, because I'm not serious sometimes, I'm just not serious.
Yeah.
Sounds
I'm not trying to waste anybody's time, so there's that. Oh boy.
Sounds like there might be some maybe offline band therapy we can do together here. So yeah.
Does it involve herb?
Good stuff.
We are pretty. we like our oregano and our rosemary and our thyme.
I'm very lost. Why are we talking about foods and spices?
It's all about flavors and textures, life in general. You can look at it that way.
I think if anybody has by this point has gone to your website, and which we've linked, of course, from the show notes at giggabpodcast.com, and found, I think the second single that's listed on there is All My Heroes Are Potheads. I don't think any of this is going to come as a great surprise. So
yeah. What? What do you mean?
Yeah, Jack, I'll send you a link later.
You gotta fill me in because this is news.
Yeah.
You're still learning.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm about this.
There are some secrets. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. No, I love that you're the consistent. I think the lack of consistency is the thing that can drive a band apart eventually. Like or perhaps when you have that dry spell on gigs and, to your point, make rejection your friend, you are like, this whole business is a game of getting the yes out of the sea of no's, right?
It's dry times that make the camaraderie really important, because if you don't have the things going on to build the momentum, you need yourself to build that momentum. And especially even if it's just texting each other on days, like it's pretty much every day at this point, right?
Yeah.
Just a group chat, just about basically nothing.
Am I in this group chat?
Maybe not that one, actually.
So many group chats.
They added me to the group chat. It's just the wrong date.
Oh, it's the wrong date.
Okay,
oh my God.
No, we got the right one.
Common mistake. Common mistake.
Oh wait, show on the back of your shirt. Now it'll make sense.
Oh no, not yet.
Later.
Not yet. Okay, great. So when you say play out as much as you can, that's interesting to me. In an original band, there is often a concern of oversaturating a given market. So how do you manage that? Clearly, you figured out something. What have you figured out?
No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it seems to be working out.
We're just trying to have as much fun as possible, and I think us allowing other people to have fun along with us and not just treat it like another show is probably part of it. I mean, it's not about us.
Also, we do a lot of shows that are like bars or restaurants or venues where we play for a good chunk of time. We play for like 3-4 hours or whatever it may be. So we do the originals, but we pepper them in and out of a bunch of party covers and favorites. So keeps the crowd happy. And, we've been able to, and fortunate to meet a lot of people, make a lot of friends like through that. So we're consistently playing out those type of gigs to keep our chops up. We're also, then we try to hit, we have some cool ins with some cool venues and promoters and bands that we're fortunate to know and play with and play at. And so it's just years of networking and basically harassing people on Instagram and Facebook and email and somebody else's email who I think might be associated to them. If there's a phone number, guess what? I'm calling them. So and as my dad always said, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So I'm just trying to get all greasy.
Man, bullheaded persistence is the key to success oftentimes.
I think consistency is also key when you always be performing.
Always be performing.
Yeah, always be performing.
That's part of
Just
it.
going to be that kind of episode, folks. That was a private conversation between me and the listeners. Don't worry about it.
What?
No, this is really interesting. So when you do those, 3-hour bar gigs, what percentage of your set is covers? What percentage of your set is originals versus covers? And how do you manage that so that you are not just getting away with playing your originals, but introducing people to them and bringing them into the fold?
Yeah, like you said, we kind of just read the room, and it's kind of case specific to different shows, and we'll keep similar vibe type songs because we pretty much play everything as though it's that. Like Sublime, we're playing it kind of. We do a kind of like a reggae rock spin on a lot of 90s songs, a lot of some classic rock, even some hip hop and stuff. So it's all over the place. Kind of like my mind. Where is my mind? All right.
It's back. It's back.
I went to more for a second, but I got some t-shirts for everybody.
There you go. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean that it's clear you understand that you're selling the brand of your band 100% of the time. And I loved, Jack, that you said every show. I mean, you didn't say these words, but essentially every show is an event. It's not just another gig and get from the beginning to the end and you're done. Make this a special night for everyone in the room, no matter how many people are in the room.
Yeah. I mean, we could have fun, cool, but ultimately we're playing for you,
Yeah.
And you and you and you.
And you.
No, this is interesting. Because you did say, the gigs are not about us. Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting concept. It's one that's very well known to anyone who's ever played in a wedding band or a function band, right? Because those gigs are literally not about you. Right. And if you take too much of the attention, somebody's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
But in your scenario, I mean, it could be argued that the gigs are about you. You're the one that's playing the gig. You're in theory, the one that at least drew some of the people there, that kind of thing. And at the end of the night, you want everybody to be a fan of yours.
Yeah.
But you accomplish that by not making it about you.
Right.
Yeah.
Party
I guess.
First.
Oh, but overall too, I guess we're just pretty selfish. So listen to us, look at us.
But that's okay, right? I mean, you want to give people something to watch. We always say on this show, live music is a visual art. And so putting on a show, that doesn't mean it's about you. That means you're thinking about the people that are there.
Yeah.
We have fun in the meantime. That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of our show, like our homie Kingsley, who I grew up with in North Plainfield, P-Funk North. That's, if we didn't say it on air already, but P-Funk North, that just means North Plainfield, where we're from, where it started. I think we did, but my short-term memory is super hazy. So there's that. But he's like a party starter, hype man, dancer, extreme extraordinaire, or whatever I'm trying to say. He's awesome, and he gets the crowd jumping and going crazy. He couldn't make it tonight. We can't give the reasons on the air because it could be incriminating. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's the witness protection program. We get it. He's in WITSEC, and it's fine. Yeah.
It's the HIPAA laws.
It's the HIPAA laws.
Better than the HIPAA laws, because you get trampled. Stampedes, like Jumanji.
Have you always had a hype man as part of the band?
He's been like part of the band, like on stage rocking with us for a couple years now. He's always been in the scene with us. He's always been at the shows. Like he's always helping people out, like getting them dancing, and he was always there to support. Because we're like, he's one of my best friends. Like, so he's a good dude. But yeah, so more so the past couple of years, he's been like up on stage, really getting everybody going.
Mm-hmm.
But so sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. Most of the time he is. But when he is, it's awesome. When he's not, it's still cool. Just he does bring a lot of visual aspect to it, and he's not even here, and nobody can see this if they're listening because you said the majority is audible.
Yeah.
So. But trust me, I'm not lying.
This is really interesting. The idea, not just of having a hype man, which in and of itself is not something every band has, but the idea of taking an audience member who made themselves a part of the scene of your band and embracing that and bringing them in and making it at some level more official, right?
He's, I would say he's more than just like, a fan or whatever, because we grew up, went to high school together. So
got it.
But yeah, he's always been there to support and like started there, went up to the stage. And then it's awesome. And when he's not there, we rock out even 10 times harder to
sure
compensate.
Well, compensate. Like the Frank Iero situation with the MCR. He kind of came a bunch, and then they were just like, "You want to be the guitarist?"
It's like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. He's our boss tone, basically. So
exactly. Yeah. No, that's really and my guess, as I understand it, Dave, you are the front man of the band, correct? When that needs to happen, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always the lead singer, front man, kind of. He's just there dancing the whole time, like keeping it going. Kevin does backing vocals. For now, Jack's getting there for now. He's still learning. No, I'm just kidding.
If you need me, but I don't think you need me. I think Kevin's doing.
We need you, bro. We need you. No, Kevin's doing a great job. So we're all doing everything we can, musically and even outside, just doing different social media things or the networking, the booking, all this type of stuff. So
everybody's got to pull their weight.
Yeah, pretty much. Or you're out.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's something I want to dig into because I think every band, it doesn't necessarily need to be that everybody pulls their own weight, but every band needs certain jobs filled and done with consistency. So I want to talk about that. The next thing that I want to do is talk about our two sponsors because, well, let's talk about the unsung hero of every gig, the gear cart. I'm talking about our sponsor, Rock and Roller. That's the legendary all-black cart with yellow wheels that you've definitely seen backstage, or maybe you've envied it while hauling your rig one case at a time like a caffeinated Sherpa. Rock and Roller carts are built for the road with 8 different configurations, dolly, hand truck, flatbed, you name it. This thing replaces your entire cart collection. It instantly adapts to your gear, your space, and your sanity. Foam-filled, never flat tires, check. Caster brakes that help on sketchy ramps, yep. Rugged steel frame, absolutely. It even folds down in seconds to fit in your trunk, your van, or that tiny void in your soul where rehearsal time used to live. Trusted by musicians since 1999, these carts roll smooth even when loaded with up to 700 pounds over gravel, over cables, over venue floors, possibly the entire cast of a ska band. But please don't try that. That's not cool. So make your load-ins smarter, and you get to use code GIGGAB20. That's GIGGAB 20 at rockandrollercart.com for 20% off all carts. Load in once, load out fast, and always be performing without throwing out your back. And our thanks to the folks at Rock and Roller for sponsoring this episode. And you know what's great after you've loaded out and it's been a long gig, right? You get the solid load out, a cold drink, and not arguing over who owes who gas money. And that's why I love our sponsor, Cash App. It's great to use to get paid for gigs, to split the gas money, split meals, and send money to the bassist who somehow always covers the tolls. Shout out to Rob. You're a hero, buddy. What I love, it's easy, fast, and actually secure. If something looks sketchy, Cash App says, hold up before your money disappears into the void. That's like a stage manager for your wallet. And because we're performers, not robots, you can customize your payments with stickers, backgrounds, and captions. I once paid a bandmate with a flying llama and the note for emotional damages during sound check. True story. So here's your move. For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Then use our exclusive referral code GIGGAB in your profile. Then send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App, and that's how you always be performing on stage and when it's time to settle up at the taco truck. My thanks to Cash App for sponsoring this episode. All right. So while I was telling everybody about our sponsors, there was all kinds of mayhem happening to distract me here, which I love. It seems like we've gone from 3 to 5 people, and one of them might be sort of expired. There's a skeleton on the screen here.
That's Kingsley.
Kingsley made it for the evening.
Kingsley joined. Okay, I got to put that on the list here. Okay, great.
Gonna make it, but you know what?
We dug him up.
Persevered.
Oh, man.
That's fine.
He's with us, but not really with us, you know?
Yeah.
And
Anyways, that's James here.
I was going to say, James, I'm Dave. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice
It's a great name this guy has. I'll tell you what.
Say hello to the Gig Gab audience, James.
Hi, Gig Gab audience. How y'all doing?
There we are.
Yeah, like I had mentioned, he's we grew up together. We've been writing songs together since high school, and so we're doing some new music together and stuff too.
Right.
So we're very excited about some things to come. We've been playing some gigs and having some fun. So yeah, so James has entered the chat.
I love it. I love it. And it forgive me for not pulling everything together, but just to contextualize this for me, candidly, and also therefore for our audience. James, are you the hype man that we've been speaking about here, or is that someone else? No. Okay.
No.
Got it.
That's the hype man back there.
Yeah.
That's
The
King.
hype man is the skeleton. Got that. Okay.
Yeah. I know we're throwing a lot at you here.
It's okay. I'm trying to keep up. I'm only a drummer, guys, so you got to go slow here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, just like Jack, he's the drummer. Kevin's the guitarist. James is a vocalist, lyricist. I'm the bassist, vocalist, lyricist.
Yeah.
You know.
Great.
I'm not a lyricist.
not the lyricist. Okay. All right. Well, that's a great segue into the thing that I wanted to talk about, which is dividing up the jobs in the band. So we've talked about the easy jobs to assign, who plays what instrument and who sings lead and maybe who sings harmonies or backups or whatever you want to call them in your band. But the rest of the jobs, the songwriting, the promotion, the booking of the gigs, all of those things are also super important. In fact, arguably at least equally as important as being able to play the instruments. Because if you don't do the booking of the gigs and you don't do the social media, there's not going to be any reason to play the gigs because there's no gigs to play. So
and there's no way to always be performing at that point.
Again, the pandering. I love it. So talk to me about this. How do you assign all of these things?
Well, it's pretty easy assignment because I've pretty much kind of just been wearing all those hats for a long time. I do, most of the networking, the marketing, the promoting, the booking, songwriting. You know, I wear many hats, just like Kevin wears many hats. He loves hats.
I have many hats.
Many hats.
Hats are good.
But I kind of did a lot of that, but it's pretty cool because now all these guys are helping out a lot, doing a lot more stuff with like the content, because content.
Yeah.
Like TikTok and YouTube, and everybody's
Instagram.
like, everybody's kind of just pulling their weight and having a good time, and it's awesome. Like I'm taking some of the hats off.
That's good. Okay, so you've identified the fact that some of these jobs can be split around. How, Dave, this is a question for you, and I expect you to answer fully honestly, even though you're not alone in the room. As a fellow control freak, I ask this question. How difficult was it for you to start giving up some of those jobs?
It's not really too difficult because I believe in these guys. I see the product and they're doing what they're doing, and we're all motivated to just keep going and keep climbing the steps. We've been doing it for a long time, so it feels good. Like I still do it as well. Like I still do a lot of the promotion and the marketing on like Instagram and Facebook, and I make a lot of the flyers. And but it's good to just have help with people just doing all this stuff. We're pretty fortunate right now. We're kind of starting to work with a team of people that are helping us out. So very excited about that. So more hats are coming off, and I feel like I'm in good hands. Like it's all state, like with these guys and the people that we're talking to and networking with. So.
No, I do another show. I do 3 podcasts. We've already talked about 2 of them, this and Matt Gig Gab, which hits 20 years. And then I do another show called Business Brain for entrepreneurs. And one of the hardest things any business owner has to figure out is how to hand off things that you've been doing for so long. And it's not easy, right? Because, it's like, well, I know this has always been done exactly the way I want it done because it's always been done by me. Doesn't mean you're the best at it, right? Yeah. And that's usually the thing you have to tell yourself is like, all right, well, maybe somebody else could do this at least as well, maybe better, or even if they can't do it quite as well, it opens up my time to do more. And you start leveraging those extra people and the energy, and you can make it collaborative, right? And that is the key, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, we've been doing this for a long time together. Like we've been doing it since high school. We've been doing it for closer part of a decade at this point. Jack's been playing with us now for a year, and we've all been doing separate stuff even before we were playing together. So it's just a long time of basically learning. Like we don't know what to do, but we kind of have a better grasp on what not to do and what not to neglect in terms of just fucking pushing. Push.
Yeah. No, that's really smart. Yeah, learning what to say no to, and that leaves room for the things you need to do. Yeah. Yep. How when you record, because I've watched some videos of your live shows. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing you live yet. We'll fix that.
We'll be coming up there.
Great. We'll fix that. But your live recordings convey an energy that clearly is also there on stage. How do you punch up a tune in the studio? How do you make that work? Because that's tough for a lot of bands to figure out how to translate that live energy into the recorded performance so that Dave here, in his little studio in New Hampshire, gets that energy when I play one of your studio tracks.
I think it's just kind of a natural thing for us because, we're authentic to the core, like with what we're doing and how we feel. And it's like, I've heard we're like a vibe, so I'll even say it, it's like a whole vibe.
Yeah.
And I just think there's no way to contain it. So it kind of pours in because that's who we are. That's what we do. And we just, amphetamines help. People forget caffeine is the #1 addicted drug in America. So all you coffee drinkers, you know what I'm saying? Get off your high horse, people. You're addicted to drugs too.
It's almost like you've been to a Bitter Pill show. Bitter Pill is the band, the original band I play in. And we have a song called Whiskey, Oxy, and a Couple of Perks. And at the beginning of the song, our singer Billy, we get the groove going, and the first thing they ask is, "Anybody here on drugs?" And then Billy walks people through, caffeine, alcohol, sugar, all of the things, and then of course we play the song. So yeah, I am, and you don't want to see me on caffeine, by the way.
You don't want to see that's
me.
like Kevin.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. All right, kindred spirit. Yeah. No, I run it too fast at clips.
I partake in a cup of coffee. I work my 7 to 5 is general construction and roofing. So
okay,
he needs the caffeine.
A lot of gas station coffee every morning is what gets me going. So
I have no judgment about people using caffeine. Like, it's totally fine. It's just me.
I just think they're all dependent.
But it's also
I'm just kidding.
It also helps because it's the diuretic, so you got to help. It's also good for the constipated community.
Yeah.
There you go. I find that caffeine further reduces my tolerance for humanity, so it's best if I don't partake in that particular path. So, I am not a patient person.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
The rest of us seem to be able to tolerate the society after a cup of coffee. That's how
for a lot of people, it's the opposite, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I get it. All right.
drink
So
coffee and you're like, what the fuck?
yeah, exactly. No, it's bad. When my kids were younger, my wife had to ban me from having caffeine before childhood sporting or our children's sporting events.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't good. No,
Those refs, man, they're crooked.
You punched
always. Wait. Don't get me started. Speaking back to the studio, not speaking of the studio, back to the studio. When you record, do you record live or are you recording like piecemeal, one instrument at a time?
So
usually isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done it both ways, but
yeah,
primarily.
Yeah, we like to go both ways.
Solo.
That's interesting. That's I did not expect that answer. I expected that you recorded all of that stuff live. It sounds like the energy sounds like you are playing this, at least the bed tracks together. And so, I say that as a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sugar.
I mean, speaking from my side of things, I've always been pretty big on consistency and something that
Is that the magic word?
something that's always stuck out to me, like when I was growing up and getting into live music and live venues and going to concerts and things of that nature. Kind of like being like having an expectation based on what I've heard over the CD or whatever.
Yes.
And there have been times where it hadn't hit the mark, so to speak, for me. It sounds like, it sounded a lot more done up and had really worked it in the studio opposed to just kind of that's how it is and that's what's natural or that's how it came out. So for me, I want to be as true to form as possible. So when you hear me on a recording, when you see me live, that's the same presentation I want to give.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I commend that. It's not always easy when you've been in the same room for, 8 hours. It's the third song of the day and that the tank is empty, but you paid for the studio time and by golly, you're going to get 10 hours out of that day, not 8. Yeah. So there's one more track in you before you retire for the day. It's not easy to summon that. Gigs are only 3 or 4 hours long sometimes, right? The studio, you'd be there for a long time and you're doing the same thing over and over again. It's a grind. Yeah.
Strategic breaks are helpful, to get out once, because you know when it's coming to a head, so to speak, in maybe a negative fashion. So
yeah.
You go and you take your 5 minutes and you get a breath and compose yourself and you come back and do it again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I find having someone acting as the role of producer at that point is helpful. And that could be your engineer who's just, doing the mixing or not the mixing, but the recording and mic placement and all that stuff. But just somebody to say, hey, you know what? Why don't you come on in and listen to that? And then we'll take a little break and then, we can decide maybe we'll do it again. That kind of, that vibe can be very, very helpful if done properly.
Luckily, we've had a lot of experience, and we all kind of have that ear. Like, we're honest. Like, I'm honest when we're in there. Like, we know if okay, maybe that wasn't that great or whatever.
I'm looking for my own mistakes constantly, so that if it is good, I can't find anything wrong with it. I'm like, all right, I guess that's the one. Because I'm
So we all kind of have that producer mind frame in terms of just making sure it's the best it could be in terms of performance, sonically, whatever the case may be, more vocabulary, terminology type stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Adjectives.
Do you record to a click when you record in the studio?
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Do you play live to a click ever?
No.
Not yet.
Okay. Not yet. Oh, this is an interesting conversation.
Ever.
How does everybody feel about this? Who said not yet?
I did.
Both of us. It's in the works. We want to eventually.
Personally,
have
for
backing
me,
tracks,
no.
I think.
Never gonna
It just
happen.
helps.
We got an
It's
East
not
Coast,
just-
West Coast war going on right here. Nah.
It's not just the click. It's also other tracks and stuff to supplement, to make it a little.
I will say that not every song needs a click when you play it live.
Sure.
But if it's I don't know, just a really
Dubby.
a song that has to be
Trippy dubby.
tight.
Something that's really produced, like he said, something that we
Yeah.
might have put in the studio
Mhm.
that's a little more
Right.
than what we'd be able to do raw. So then we're okay. So how can we
Yeah.
cover our butt? And that's the way.
If we're just jamming, if it's a 2-chord jam song, no, you don't need a click.
no,
Three chords though.
Yeah, 3 chords. Then,
Click it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm not.
Hey,
Man,
Don't even get me started on 4 chords.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. That's advanced. You're not playing Rush music here or anything. So
Not yet.
Not yet. That's right.
Sorry.
No. Very nicely done, Jack. Thank you. So I'm curious. You would use the click, and I realize you're not using it yet, but the discussion here, and we get to peek into one of these, twice weekly rehearsal discussions or the text thread that's happening. But it would be as stated, it would be for those songs that need something extra, either musically extra or maybe triggering a video or something that goes along with it. Would you ever want to use the click for something where you need to keep the tempo from getting away from you live, like energy or wise?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think there's only one use for it, and it's to keep what you just said, those supplemental things in sync with us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's we haven't this long, so why start?
Yeah. If it's not in sync, it's bye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's no wrong answer here. I can make an argument for either or, and there's going to be a segment of the audience that's like yes, and then when I make the other argument, there's going to be a segment that says yes. So there's no wrong answer. It's whatever works right for your band.
I'm also big on like we said earlier, reading the room and kind of different rooms have different vibes and different energies. And sometimes if it's just a wild energy and something's a little more up tempo or a little more rocking or something, it just fits the vibe. So that's a big thing too, reading the room. So for a lot of the songs, that's kind of how we do it. And just, I just love it. But yeah, we're not opposed for some stuff in the future. We're always down to just,
those bigger stadiums and stuff like that. I think you kind of have to, because you can't even really hear each other.
That's
even
true.
with the
You
IEMs
need
and stuff.
that.
There's certain venues that just kind of call for that kind of thing, and you don't really have a choice. But
well, when you guys play Sphere, you're going to need to be on IEMs, and it's. Are you on in-ears? It's one of my favorite topics to bring up. So is anybody in the band playing on in-ears?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's a good answer, right?
Not at the moment.
It's fine. Yeah. Again, there's no wrong answer. I have very strong opinions about this. I've been on in-ears longer than I've been podcasting. But I'm also a drummer who sings, and trying to have a monitor wedge get vocals up louder than a snare drum, only to put earplugs in to save my hearing. It was just a non-tenable scenario. So in-ears made a lot of sense for me.
Yeah,
But
so down the road.
it is an adjustment. Like, you will not like them the first time you try them.
We've
Yeah, I
rehearsed.
already love 'em.
We've rehearsed in the past with in-ears, but we just haven't done it out live and stuff. So
Got it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it can. There's a lot of benefits to it.
But yes, to your point, it did sound initially. It was like, whoa, this is weird.
It's an adjustment. But
Yeah.
it's so much better.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, so I hear Jack, who's your drummer, saying it's so much better. That's a normal response from a drummer.
Yeah.
Typically, it's singers usually like it. Bass players typically, guitar players, you are the ones that have the hardest transition. I know it is a difficult transition because you're used to hearing your instrument from an amp that's many feet away from you.
Feeling the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the delay of it too. You're like a drummer, like we're 1 to 2 feet away from each of our instruments, and you add 1 millisecond per foot because we're not going to do public math and actually get the calculation right. But if your guitar amp is 10, 15 feet upstage from you, that's 15 milliseconds. That's a lot of delay. You're not used to hearing your guitar attack when you pluck it. You're used to hearing it on a delay.
Yeah,
and
you
yeah, go ahead.
gotta really work that latency. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Get it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awkward thing to get to. And then there's the sound. Guitar amps don't sound like in your ears generally. Microphones are EQ devices, so they're going to make it sound different, right? So it's a whole thing for guitar players. And I feel it for you, in a big way. Yeah.
I got to do some math.
Yeah.
No public math, Jack. That's the deal. That's the deal.
That's why I hit.
Okay, that's good. Right. Yeah, perfect. Okay. While we're on the gear subject, I know you're not using IEMs. Any gear that you're using on stage that you either love or think is atypical or you just want to talk about? Because we like gear. Gear Gab is one of our most popular segments.
About this.
Well, I'll go real quick. Then you could talk all day. I have a what is it? A George Foreman grill on stage. I have a state-of-the-art restaurant, grade toaster.
Mm-hmm.
That's just some of my favorite type of gear.
He's an appliance.
I also have some SCUBA gear up there.
Yeah.
This is good. I like this. I said before that you weren't doing something unique. I might be able to change that. I might be able to say that this is truly unique. Certainly in the Gig Gab family here, no one has ever talked about having SCUBA gear or a restaurant grade toaster. I can neither confirm nor deny that someone that's been on the show has had a George Foreman grill on stage. But other than that,
It was actually George Foreman.
It was him himself.
Well, I can't. Or Georgia. I don't know. Maybe.
Foreman.
Or any
That's right.
Also named George.
Do you have anything you'd like to talk about?
I was actually. Is it okay if I go first?
Kevin's gonna go.
Yeah. So I've never been a Les Paul guy.
Okay.
Until I played this one that my dad got me, and I've always been like a Strat guy. Like I've just always loved Strats and like the width of the neck and like the frets and stuff like that. I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but
No, you don't. You sound like you do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played this Les Paul, and I was like, oh my god, I'm never playing a Strat again. And then I went to go play the Strat that I used to play, and I was like, I can't go back to this. Like this is my guitar now.
Yeah.
As for like pedals, I've for amps, I've always been like a half stack kind of guy.
Okay.
I did have a full stack at one point, but I lived in my attic, and it was always hard to bring like both cabinets down. So I moved to a half stack, and then I moved to an apartment that was on the 3rd floor with no elevator. So then I switched to a twin reverb.
Yep.
So it does the job now. I've never been like a distortion pedal guy either.
They got mic.
But now, because I've always had like a 3-channel head. So I had a clean channel, crunch, and then like the
lead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of adjusting to kind of get used to these distortion pedals that I have.
I think there's, and I say this as someone who I mean I can play guitar, but I'm a terrible guitar player. So for the sake of this conversation, I'm not a guitar player. I think there's a lot of power and a lot of benefit in everyone out there understanding the value of having clean distortion and lead and nothing else. That is live, unless you're playing in a band that requires very specific sounds. And I would even question that. There are some where it's warranted to have, like, I need to sound, I need to have a Rockman so that from this song I sound like Tom Scholz or whatever. But by and large, clean, dirty distortion makes everyone's life better and easier.
Yeah.
In terms of the mix and all of that stuff. So yeah, no, I'm behind this as a non-guitar player.
Yeah. So, that took a lot of adjusting. I've been using a Morley Bad Horsey, like wah-wah for the last like 10 to 15 years. And that also took a lot of adjusting because it's a spring-loaded wah. Like, it's not one that you got to like click on. And I listen to a lot of Clutch. And the guy, Tim Solt, the guitar player, he does like a kind of vibrato wah kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I incorporate that a lot in my playing. I kind of like,
cool.
I just steal a lot of stuff from people.
Well, that's what we all do.
That's what we all do.
That's what music is.
Yeah.
It's all recycled.
Yeah.
I mean,
Correct.
And same thing with like I use a delay pedal because we're a reggae band, and I've never really used delays before, so that took a lot of like adjusting and just getting used to and like figuring out which delay to use where and stuff like that. So that's the gear I use. That's
cool.
Pretty much it.
Jack's turn.
Jack.
So you're a drummer, so you probably get this. I'm always looking for like cool little gadgets to add to the kit. That's like not like gratuitous stuff. Like that's functional. That like you can find a real use for because you don't want to.
Today I just got 2 quick release hi-hat clutches.
Yeah.
And I've been using quick release cymbal toppers for years.
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that make life worth living.
They really do.
Yeah.
So I'm always doing MacGyver stuff too. So if I can't afford the stuff, I'll just make stuff. But like on that same vein, I was, just messing around. I was like, I kind of want to mess around with the trash stack, something kind of like to incorporate, right? So I was at my friend's house and he had a really old drum kit, like one of those like child ones that they sell.
Yeah.
And the cymbals that you can literally bend in half. They're like that cheap. So I was like, can I have these? He's like, yeah. So I brought them home and I stacked them together, like a trash, and I hit it. It sounded like crap. I was like,
okay.
It kind of sounded like a clap stack. And I put them together and I taped them real tight and they sounded okay. But I was like, I'm already incorporating these in songs now, like more than 3 or 4 now. Let me look into getting a real one. So I go online and they're all like $200+ for any like decent one. So I'm on Reddit and I'm like, are these cheap ones any good? And then all the comments are literally, you guys are paying money for pieces of metal. And right there, I was like, I'm good. So I still use it.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. No, there are so many little things that can make all of our lives easier. But as a drummer, and I know we have much of the band here, but the way the guest schedule has worked out, this is drummer summer here on Gig Gab. So it's totally fine to have a little drummer summer Gear Gab. It's on brand. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Always be performing.
Always be performing. Seriously, thank you so much for taking the time with us. I love this. This is great. And I love what you guys are doing. There's so many things that, and I know you probably think you just came on and just rambled for an hour, and you did, but there's a lot of value in what you guys have figured out how to just be, and I appreciate you taking the time to share that with everybody here.
Oh yeah, man, appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And you Dave, you said earlier, you're the bullheaded persistence. You're just contacting people via email and Instagram and all those things. That's how you're here. Yeah. So take that lesson. Everybody who's listening, take that lesson for what it's worth. Like that's what it takes. I don't have any designs on, there's no minimum bar of entry for Gig Gab, as is evidenced by the last hour. No.
That's great. That's awesome. I like this guy. He's one of us.
I couldn't help it. But really, like, if you're out there doing something, reach out, because there's probably something about what you're doing that is valuable to the audience at large. And we really are just a community here at Gig Gab. So we're all doing this together.
One thing that I've learned from Dave over the last couple of years, I learned how to ride a bike. I learned how to tie my shoes.
Cook on a George Foreman grill.
And I learned
On stage.
I learned that I learned the answer is always no if you don't ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. The answer is yes. Yes. The answer is always no if you don't ask. And that might be the most valuable thing that's been shared in the last hour. Really, it is. Well, we all have that to varying and lesser degrees. We all have that fear of failure, right? And we trick ourselves into believing that we don't fail if we don't try. And yet, by not trying, we are starting and ending at failure. So, yeah. Absolutely. I ask for the no. That's like sales 101, right? Is get to the no. Ask for the no. Ask for the no. Because sometimes it's not, you're not going to get it. You're going to get a yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait a minute, you're a salesman?
Turns out that's the job. Yep. We all are. Like, we are all selling ourselves all the time. And if you're in a band, especially if you're the one booking the band, if you don't think you're in sales, find somebody else to do that job.
Well, no, I'm in sales.
Well,
I know.
We are probably going to buy that rock and roller multi-cart with the Gig Gab 20 promotional code.
Amazing. Amazing.
Because,
there you go.
We try to always be performing, and it would help with our in and out, like the burger,
Like the burger that we don't get here on the East Coast. But,
Not yet.
Not yet. That's right. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you to everybody for listening. Where can people find you if they want to find P-Funk North? I'll put it all in the show notes, but where can we find you?
Appreciate it. So you can find the Central Hub is our website, pfunknorth.com. P like pancake, funk like funky town, north like not south, pfunknorth.com. Find us on all the socials at pfunknorth. You can find us on everywhere you listen to music, your Google, your Amazon, your iTunes, your Apple, your banana, pear, grape, watermelon, kiwi, strawberry, dragon fruit, pumpkin, broccoli. We're now on the broccoli app.
Yep.
Okay.
You can get all this information and more at pfunknorth.com. We're always playing out, so we like to have fun. We're looking to do some traveling. So
amazing.
Check your local listings.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Always be performing, and we'll see you next week.
Can't believe I didn't say it at the end. Always be performing.
Now you did say it at the end. See, it's that easy.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.